if the most important member of the Lewis and Clark expedition wasn't human. He didn't write journals. He didn't map rivers. He didn't negotiate with tribes. He hunted. He guarded. He survived. And without him, they might not have made it back. This is a story about a dog named Seaman. In 1803, the United States doubled in size overnight. But owning land on paper and understanding it were two very different things. So President Jefferson sent a group of men west into a land few Americans had ever seen. And among them was a dog, not a symbol, not as an afterthought, a working member of the expedition. Seaman was born around 1803. His exact birthplace wasn't recorded, but he was purchased in Pittsburgh, then a frontier gateway to the west. He was a Newfoundland, a breed known for strength, intelligence, and water work. Large, powerful, built for endurance. Estimates suggest he weighed about 100 to 150 pounds. His height, roughly 2.5 to 3 feet at the shoulder. As for color, that's debated. Most depictions show him as black, but some historians believe he may have been black and white or even have had a reddish tone, because early records simply say he was a large dog. No formal breed standard. No photographs, just a description and interpretation. What we do know is what he cost. Meriwether Lewis paid $20 for him. Today, that's roughly $400 to $600. At the time, that was a serious purchase. Still a serious purchase in today's money. Lewis didn't buy a pet. He bought a working animal for a dangerous journey. The expedition itself had a purpose: explore the newly acquired Louisiana territory, find a route to the Pacific Ocean, map rivers, document land, establish a presence. This wasn't curiosity. This was strategy. Thomas Jefferson commissioned it. The United States government paid for it. And Meriwether Lewis was chosen to lead it. Why Lewis? Well, because Lewis was a soldier. He was educated, and he was personally trusted by Jefferson. Lewis didn't go alone. He chose William Clark. Why Clark? Well, Clark brought leadership, mapping skill, and frontier experience. Together, they formed the Corps of Discovery. They brought a group of soldiers, frontiersmen, and specialists, including Sacagawea, who would become essential to the journey. They would travel up the Missouri River, across the Rocky Mountains, and to the Pacific Ocean, and back again. Thousands of miles, unmapped land, unknown risk, and through it all, Seaman. Seaman went with them. He wasn't just along for the ride. He worked. He hunted. Lewis journals mention Seaman catching squirrels and birds, helping provide supplies when food was thin. He guarded camp. And at night, when visibility dropped, Seaman became the first alert. Sound before sight. Movement before recognition. Exactly the kind of instinct that had kept dogs and humans alive for thousands of years. He encountered danger. At one point, he fought off a buffalo. At another point, he fought off being stolen by Indians. They admired him for what he could do, for his size, for his strength. And Lewis was not happy about that because Seaman wasn't expendable. He was part of the expedition. Food wasn't guaranteed. There were times when the expedition struggled to find enough to eat. And in those moments, dogs were not always spared. But accounts from the era make clear dogs could become food when survival demanded it. But Lewis would not allow Seaman to become food. There's no record of Lewis ever allowing that possibility. In fact, his journals show something else entirely: concern, attention, protection. Seaman was never treated as expendable. He was treated as essential. He crossed rivers, climbed terrain, endured heat, cold, and storms. Everything that the men faced, he faced too, and survived. The expedition returned in 1806. They had done it. They had crossed the continent, mapped the land, proved the route, and Seaman came back with them, alive. But the story does not end cleanly. In 1809, Meriwether Lewis died, and his manner of death is still debated. Suicide or something else? We don't know. What we do know is what came next. Accounts suggest that Seaman did not live long afterward. Some say he refused food, that he stayed near Lewis's body, and that he grieved. That part is kind of hard to prove. But the bond, that part isn't. Seaman isn't forgotten. He stands in bronze and stone across the United States. You'll find him at places like Lewis and Clark National Historic Park, Fort Clatsop, and Great Falls Lewis and Clark statue, often at their feet, sometimes slightly behind, but always there, just like he was on their journey. Not leading, not following, but part of it. Seaman didn't write history. He didn't claim land. He didn't shape policy. But he did make the journey. He survived it, and in doing so, he became part of something bigger than himself. Because this wasn't just exploration. It was partnership, trust, reliance, and survival. Because as this nation expanded, we weren't doing it alone. Because then, as now, we were a pack.
This is America 250, The Dogs. This has been episode 5.